In this lesson, we are going to talk about the power of line weight and how it can be used to add depth to your drawing. When we think about drawings, we automatically think about outlines. Outlines are the resource we use to convey form, to define silhouettes, and describe shapes that turn away from the viewer. However, outlines don't exist in real life. It's something we use to fool the eye of the audience and make them believe it's somewhat plausible. In real life, three-dimensional information is delivered through a combination of light and shadows. But there's beauty in a drawing made only with simple lines. That is how children interpret the world around them, and how most famous cartoon characters were designed. So, in order to convey more depth to a drawing made only with a pencil, we have to vary the line weight. There are a few quick tips in this regard that you can rely on to make your work pop a little bit more. So let's use a simple shape to illustrate what I'm talking about. Imagine a cylinder grounded in space. To make it look more three-dimensional, we have to define the position of the light source. So if the light is positioned on the top right, we need to increase the weight of our lines on the other side of the cylinder. Likewise, we need to decrease the size on the opposite side, which is receiving the light source. In fact, depending how I balance the weight on my drawing, I can even remove the lines in some parts and still be able to interpret the shape. Think of this rule while drawing your character. Thicker lines are related to shadow, while thinner lines or no lines at all means the object is directly facing the light source. Another way to judge when varying the lines in your drawings is when you have two connected parts where you'll be able to see the edges they make, like these two in this drawing. In this case, the line stays thin. However, if you have a face where the form turns away and is no longer visible, like this one here, the line can be thick. But it doesn't stop here. It's important to notice that when drawing faces, we're dealing with irregular surfaces. So it's not a binary decision. It's not as simple as this side is going to be darker and this side is going to be lighter. You also need to apply variations along the line stroke in order to make your drawing pop up more. Let's take another example. You may notice that I made some parts thicker than others here. At the lower part of the hair, the top part of the eye, at the bottom of the nose, the bottom part of the mouth, and the outer corners as well, the bottom part of the chin, and so on. So, when I drew this character, I was thinking of the light source coming from the top. So I'm constantly judging what parts are more exposed to the light source while I'm drawing. Let's take a look at another example here. Notice that much of the lines don't even have to meet up in order to connect the pieces of the drawing. The brain will fill these gaps for us. Usually, due to a lack of confidence, we tend to draw all the lines to avoid a second guess from the viewer, which is where many artists tend to get lost in their sketches. So, creating an illusion of depth by only using two types of values in a two-dimensional medium, such as the one we are using here, it's a pretty sophisticated technique. You'll be seeing me applying these tricks all the time while drawing my characters. By regularly practicing these techniques, I guarantee your drawings will gain a lot more movement and likability. In the next lesson, we are going to learn how to add more variation to our drawings and make them look more dynamic and lively.